Hello. Okay, so I've had several people ask me how I made this really cute hot air balloon prop. It's actually really easy to make. It took me about 30 minutes to make it, and I'm going to show you in this short video how to make it. So I put up a picture earlier of all of the things that you will need for this. I'm sorry, I don't have like a crafting room at all by any means, but I wanted to share this little design with you guys. And as you can see, it's not big enough for toddlers, but you can make it big enough for toddlers. And since I solely photograph newborns right now, and just cake smash sessions, and I have yet to have a parent ask me for a session for hot air balloons for a toddler. So this is strictly for newborns, and maybe down the road I'll do a toddler one. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. But just to show you the dimensions of this. Okay, so I'm real particular about my props being too big for my babies, and with that being said, I don't like my props overpowering my newborn. So I like for the newborn to be the focal point, and then obviously the prop will be supporting the image as far as the wow factor goes. So the basket itself, the way I do it, I go to Hobby Lobby or I go to a local craft store, Joann's. Some people have Home Goods. It depends on your craft place. But I gauge it with, I'm pretty good at looking at a prop and I know how big it is for my babies. But usually a good tip that was given by some other photographers that I do follow, the length of your forearm. If it's that width, the opening of the actual prop itself, if it more so matches the width of your forearm, then it's a really good size for your newborns. And I like my props to have a depth to them, because obviously you're going to pack it with weights at the bottom so the prop doesn't tilt, and also with the pillows to support your baby. And I brought out a measuring tape just so you can see the length of it. I'm not good. Circumference, I guess what it would be. I'm not good with math. I know you're supposed to divide it by pi and stuff like that. Okay, so the opening to this one is about 11 inches, which is pretty good. Anything between 10, 11, 12, that's a good opening width. And then the depth of it is, for this particular basket, it's 11. I chose a round base. You can choose a square base. And the top part of this particular prop is a lantern balloon that you can get from anywhere. And this lantern balloon that I got is from Hobby Lobby, and obviously they come in all different colors. This one is the Bright Idea brand. I don't know if you see it right there, Bright Idea brand. And then it's $7.99, but if you use your 40% off, you can get it for like $4.50 or something like that. But there's 3 sizes that come in here. It's the 10, 12, and the 16 inch, and you're gonna wanna use the 16 inch one. The other 2 sizes, to me, I feel like they're too small. If you wanna make one for your toddlers, a prop for your toddlers, I'm pretty sure you can order a bigger size online. And let me go and open it just to show you. Now, some of this video might get cut out later on, so I just wanted to show you. So this is the 16 inch, but it's in white, and I actually made this versatile, so where the front of the prop, and you can actually move these are supposed to be like the sandbags for the actual hot air balloon. It's just like a little added feature, but you can actually take these off, and you can rotate it around, and then it's a plain air balloon prop if you have like a boy for your session. And what's really neat about this, but let me show you this lantern really quick. So this is a 16 inch in white, and then this is, I'm gonna make another one just so y'all can see the top piece. You know, you can remove this, which makes it easy to first place your baby inside the prop. And then once you're done, you have the baby settled down, you have a spotter obviously, then you can go ahead and put the little topper right above the baby. What I love about this is that it's light, it's not heavy, and it's not attached to each other, so it makes it easy for storage too. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on showing you how to actually put the prop together, but let me go through the rest of the supplies that you're gonna need. I took a picture of it. You're obviously gonna need a hot glue gun. That's gonna be the biggest part of this, putting this whole thing together. Hot glue gun, obviously extra hot glue sticks. These are really cool. You can find these in the wedding section or in, they have like this little bag paper section. These are the sack and things. I use this version. I'm going to use the burlap version for the boys because I have a darker basket that I picked out. Oh, and also on the basket, I'll show you later on in the tutorial, I cut the handles off because I don't need the handles. And for the girls, I chose a lighter version to go with this basket, but it's completely up to you what you want to use. I'll also, I picked some ribbon to go for the boy version of the top of the air balloon part that I'm gonna make. And then also, if you want, it's up to you, some extra little scraps of ribbon are great. And also you have some cord that you're gonna need. It's not the very thick one. You can get the thick one if you want to, but what I like about this one, it curves a lot better. If it's thicker, it's gonna be kind of harder to manipulate when you're working with it. So this is really good too. I have a whole roll from this last project that I did. For the boys, I'm gonna go ahead and add some cute buttons. So I picked out some buttons. Now you guys, y'all can pick whatever you want. I'm gonna go to my silhouette cameo machine here in a minute, and I'm gonna make some little bunting banners to match for the boys. This is really important here. You're gonna need some of these sticks. I didn't get thick ones because the thicker they are, you're gonna have to use some kind of like cutting tool. It's easy for me to kind of score these down and then cut them. I just kind of hand break them, but if you have a spouse that will be able to help you, then that's great. And let me give you the measurement of these really quick, of the stick itself. So, let me turn it around. It's gonna be about 22 inches. 22 inches is what you're gonna need to cut these down to. So 22 inches, doesn't matter which side, they're both the same. But I know Hobby Lobby, they mark them with like the little blue tips. I don't know if you can see that. So if you can get the one with the little, it's like the baby blue tip color, then that's the size that you're gonna need. And these are, I think, 1/4. Yes, it's 1/4 by 36 inches, and they're like 59 cents for one of these sticks, so it's pretty cheap. Total spent on this project, you're gonna spend about $40. If you're a couponer, then you can go separate days and use your 40% off coupon. You probably can do it way cheaper, maybe 20 bucks. I just don't have time for that. So let me go ahead and start the tutorial. Oh yeah, also, this is the basket that I chose for the boys. I like it. It's like the traditional hot air balloon. Now obviously I'm gonna take these handles off. I don't need the handles for the picture. So, and what I like about this particular basket, it's a lot heavier too. But I still put in my counterweight at the bottom of the basket, and always have a spotter whenever you're working with a baby. So let me move on to the next part, okay? Okay, so this is the next part that you're gonna wanna do. It's actually pretty important. So your cord, go ahead and measure your lantern, your paper lantern. Once you've already put, there's like this little metal thing that goes on the inside. Once you put that inside, go ahead and measure, and this is if you wanna do this part, you don't have to, but measure the top part. It doesn't really matter top or bottom, which side you use. Measure from the top inside and go all the way to the bottom, and it's about 20.5 inches. I cut all of my little ropes that I'm gonna use to 20. So I pre-cut them, and you can count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines that run up and down, and this kind of helps hide this line if you don't like seeing it. So I hot glue the top part here, and then I run the string all the way to the bottom, and then I hot glue the bottom part too. So I'll do one here, and then hot glue. It's easier if you do this first before you add any kind of like burlap detail to the bottom. So I'm pretty good with dealing with hot stuff on my fingers, so it doesn't bother me too much. I know some people are pretty sensitive, I'm not. Okay, so now we're gonna grab the bottom piece, and then we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue on the outside, and then glue that down, kind of hold it there. It doesn't have to be super tight, so it can be fairly loose. So you see how you have like this little piece right here that's hanging out? So I just add a little bit of hot glue to the tail of that, and then I pinch it under. Okay, and then you're gonna do that all the way around, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do one more. Same thing. You're going to hot glue one side on the outside, put your piece of cord down, pinch that down, let it dry some, and then come back around. And same thing here. Pinch that down, let it dry some, and then on the outside of this tail here, put some hot glue, pinch it under, hold that there briefly. And it dries pretty quick. So that's what makes this little project fairly fast. So same thing on the opposite side, and then pinch it down just a tad. And yeah, the hot glue gun's gonna be the key to getting this whole little project together. So there's the beginning of it, okay? All right, I'm gonna stop the video here, and then I'm gonna show you the next section, what to do once you get every single one down all the way around, okay? So it's gonna look like this one here, where it's all the way around, okay? This is the next part. All right, so I already have the cord all the way around. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're gonna do this 8 times all the way around, okay? So I've glued it here, and then I glued it underneath at the bottom too, okay? So I know some of you might think wrapping it around is gonna be easier. It's not. So just do it this way, and I promise it's gonna save you a headache later on, okay? Next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add this little swag feature right here. And you probably guessed it, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to hot glue it. I'm telling you, hot glue is going to be the key here. So I just kind of guessed the center point, and whichever side you want to be your back side, it doesn't matter, like for front or back for the prop. So I just kind of pick a center part, and I found an extension cord, made it a lot easier for it to reach over here. I picked a center part of the actual lantern, paper lantern itself, and I follow that same line all the way around, okay? So I'm gonna put that here and kind of press down, let it dry for a second, let the let it set for a second, which is fairly quick. And then right here, this is where I let the cord kind of drop some. I mean, you can make a big swag, you can make a little swag. I just made mine kind of medium length, and I gauge it. No perfection here, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. But if you are a perfectionist, then by all means, do all your measuring. So you're gonna start your first little swag like that, okay? Now I'm gonna continue that all the way around. You don't have to cut this part of the cord, okay? So you can just continue that all the way around, but follow that same line that you're gonna use to glue down on, okay? What's great about this little project, you can also make it for like a nursery or as a nursery gift. It would be a cute like little waste basket too, if you want to use it for that. So I'm going to keep doing this, but make sure like because sometimes they kind of roll a little bit, make sure that your cord stays, the one that runs from top to bottom, that it stays across the line that you used to guide you to glue it with. So that way the swag kind of sort of matches. So that's there, that one here, that's good. This part's actually pretty quick. It's not all what it's not too difficult to do, I promise you. It's actually kind of fun to do. So I wanted to do a boy version of this. I did a neutral front and back for my boys and girls, and then this one is gonna be more so for my boys. I feel so bad. Sometimes I feel like my boys, I don't have enough props for them, and it's so much more easier to get props for girls. That's just how I feel than it is for boys. Okay, so we're almost done. I have 2 more little swags to make. 1, 2. And then I go back and I add more hot glue to a section if I feel like it needs it. And then we're gonna add a little bit more extra glue where we started and where we're gonna end. We're gonna just meet those 2 sections together. So right here you're gonna have like the string hanging. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna cut it off because we don't need it anymore. So we're gonna cut it, and then now we're left with a cute little swag that's gonna go all the way around, okay? So now from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of a detail to it. And what I have buttons that I wanted to use just to kind of finish off the little points where it meets. So I'm gonna add the buttons, but the next part, which is fairly important, okay, it's gonna be this section right here, this little bottom section of the hot air balloon. You can get a burlap piece or you can get ribbon, preferably burlap because it's a lot easier, it's a little bit sturdier to attach to it. So it doesn't matter which side you want to use, but in this particular case, since you did the swag, we're going to go ahead and attach it to this part, to the bottom part. So we're going to flip it over, okay, and then this doesn't have to be perfect. You can just measure right on the outside of the opening right here, okay? And I'm gonna guess more or less. Okay, I like that. And then what's cool about this, it has like the wired piece, so it gives it a little bit more stability. You can double it up if you want to also. I mean, you really don't have to. So I'm gonna cut that, okay? And I actually bought a piece of ribbon just to give it a little extra detail. And I'm gonna take this ribbon out. Sorry, I'm not great with tutorials. I don't ever do this, but you know, I'm a newborn photographer. I'm all about saving people money, dollars, you name it. Okay, so that's good. So I like this ribbon. It's pretty, it's wide. I don't need it this wide. So I'm just gonna fold it in half, or I'm just gonna cut a strip of it. And then I'm gonna run this in the center. Kind of like how this one here, it has like this lace detail. On the center part, I'm gonna go ahead and measure more or less just by gauging it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, or you can leave it as is. You can still kind of see the burlap on the edge. You see, if you line it up, you can still kind of see the burlap, but I want to see more of the burlap. So I'm gonna cut that, okay, and then I'm just gonna cut a strip of this. Kind of follow the blue line the best that I can. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, and you guessed it, I'm gonna use hot glue. I have a sewing machine. I do not feel like sewing right now though. Okay, and we're gonna run this right across it. And we're almost done. Need more. Little tip here, my sister showed this to me. I kind of melt one side of the hot glue stick and then I attach it so it doesn't fall out. So just a little tip. I'm gonna run the glue stick here. Okay, great. Now what we're gonna do here, we're gonna merge these two pieces together. Okay, and then we're gonna hot glue it together. There we go. So it kind of closes it out. So now you're left with like a ring, right? Okay, so now we're gonna place that ring on the section where we're gonna glue it to, okay? And now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna glue it together. I don't know if you can see. Like I said, I'm not great with tutorials, but this is to help those that asked, you know, how to do this. You know, I want to be as helpful as possible. And again, we're going to do this all the way around. And we're almost done. So it's actually pretty easy, you guys. It's not all that difficult, especially if you're not like a crafty person. Like, if I could, I would love to help make these for you and ship them off, but I just don't have time to do that. Not right now. I work a regular job and it keeps me fairly busy. So there you go. Now you have the bottom piece, which is pretty securely attached. So it looks starting to come together right here. So there's the bottom piece, and there it goes, see? And it's attached pretty well here. And then now the next part, what I'm gonna show you, because we'll do all the detail stuff at the end. So now I'm gonna show you the basket part, okay? So I already have my sticks pre-cut. I went ahead and, I told you at 22 inches, I went ahead and cut mine to 21. I'm just kind of curious just to see what it would look at 21. I think it'll be perfectly fine. So here's the basket again. This actually measures exactly like the base of this one here. It measures the same, okay? So now what we're gonna do here is we are going to secure these little rods. Now, if you want, you can paint them or you can add like your own detail to it. I'm not gonna do that. I like the simplicity of some things. So I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue each one to the base. And when I mean hot glue it, you're gonna actually hot glue each bottom piece and then the top piece to the actual basket itself. So hold it secure. See how that is? I hot glued it down here at the bottom and then up here at the top, okay? Now keep in mind when you're hot gluing, the front two pieces. So we'll use this as a front. When you're hot gluing the front two pieces right here, you want it wide enough so that way your baby has a section to be in. You don't want to put your two sticks right here too close to each other, because then obviously baby won't have room. You won't have room to put the baby in there, okay? So here we go. So we're gonna go ahead. So I was able to put the rest of the hot air balloon together for the boy version. So I showed you how to put the cord on, how to run the cord across, okay? And then also how to put this little base piece on, okay? So the cool thing about this, like I said, is it's detachable. Okay, the one thing that I did forget to tell you guys what to do, okay, so right here at the tips, let me bring that in closer, I put some more cord there. And what that does, it helps protect your hot air balloon, the top piece, from getting ripped, because it is lantern paper, so it's pretty thin paper, okay? So what's cool about it is you can, like I said, you can take it off. You can switch it out to a totally different color if you decide to make a different little design topper piece. Like say, for example, if my client wants more of a neutral base piece, then I can switch this out, turn it around, and then I have a secondary little piece to work with here, okay? So let's go back, put that one back where it belongs here, and then this one here. So now I have two. I wasn't planning on making two, but now I have two hot air balloon pieces. But this kind of gives you an idea that it's perfect for newborns. Here's my forearm. See, it runs the length of my forearm both ways. So that's really good. It has some depth to it. It's great. You can see where I hot glue gunned everything. And then I found these little sacks, which are like your sand weights for your hot air balloon. I added some burlap ribbon to the top, and then I finished it off with a little button here in the centerpiece. And then I made this little bunting banner that you can actually remove. It doesn't stay on there. You can take it off. And if you want it simple, you can have it simple, and then you can add this back on there if you want to add a little more extra detail. And you can even make like a little girl version of this, you know. You can even tie on bows on here with ribbon, for example. Like you can get ribbon like this, and then you can loop it through one of your main strings here, like this, and then you can tie a little bow. So if you want to remove it, make it versatile. That's what's great about this. It's so versatile. You know, you can add a little bow on it. So it's great. It's great for storage. I would not recommend taking out the centerpiece, this little metal piece in the center here. I would highly recommend leaving it in there, okay? I haven't tried taking it out yet. Maybe one of you guys will try taking it out. So, but just to give you an example of the size of it, I do have like a doll that I use, and it's great for just so you can have an idea of how big it is. Okay, so this is one of the dolls that I use, and I'm sorry, the kids here around the house have messed with her hair. Usually her hair is in two pigtails, but she's about the length of a newborn. And what I like about this doll, like I sometimes practice wrapping with her. It's always good to find a good doll to practice wrapping with. And actually this is a doll from Mexico. They're jelly dolls, and they're great because they're the way the company makes the body, it has like limbs like a newborn, and they're pretty easy to manipulate. So she's about the size of a newborn, and this will I'm gonna put her here in the basket. I don't have any padding in here because I'm not at the studio, I'm at my house. But this will give you an idea more or less of how big it would be. Now, obviously, if I was working with a real newborn, I would remove this top piece, you know. I would have this with my weight, my pillows to help support her, my spotter close by, usually it's mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandparent, and then I will position the baby inside here, get the baby settled in, and obviously you want to grab a baby by the back of their neck. And then you get your top piece and put it right above the baby. Voila, there you go. There's your hot air balloon. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Facebook, and you can visit my website, www.sophieguerra.net, and you can visit my Facebook page, Sophie Guerra Photography, and I will add links in the comments below. All right, and there's your tutorial for your hot air balloon 1, and now my boy version 2. All right, thanks, bye.